Making Awesome podcast. This is episode 179. Hope everyone is doing all right. We're going to be talking about community. We're talking all about community today. Appreciate everybody here showing up. Community is kind of a big deal. Community matters quite a bit, especially if you're looking to grow a small business or become, more than just a part-time maker. Community is what is one of the most important things for this kind of thing. So hopefully everybody is having a good day so far. If you are here live watching on YouTube, let me know in the chat. Leave a like, subscribe, and all the things you're supposed to do. And I say we just kind of dive right into it. Also, share on the social media so we can get more people in here. As we talked about before as well, we're also looking for a co-host. So if you have somebody in mind that has experience talking on a podcast, that can be both technical and fun. We would definitely appreciate looking for a part-time co-host or a full-time co-host. I don't know. Just need you for a couple hours a week. Pretty simple stuff, but still fun nonetheless. Anyways, let's jump into talking about community, because last week we talked about cultivating and growing, right? So we talked about helping and growing your own team, helping those around you, right? Planting the seeds for what growth will become as a business. This week, it's all about helping others, which was also kind of what last week was about, but it's a little bit different. Community is, it's very, very different than growing employees and growing staff, right? You are investing time, energy, and effort into a community with zero expectation of return. And you might say, Grant, that is ridiculous. Why would I ever bother doing something like that? Because in the event that you actually do need some help, or, you want to grow, let's say, an online presence or a following from others, the only way to really do this effectively is with a community. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this back audio only, which if you are, you're a week behind, better catch up. I'm joking, man. That sounds rude. I'm not. But that's why we do things live. We do it live so we can build a community, talk with people, because we got people like Mad Cat is in here, Max H is in here, Breaker 3D is here, which is Justin, who is one of the organizers of the Rocky Mountain Rap Fest, which basically in 1 month's time we will be there, so that's awesome. I see Geek Toy Box Dom is here, Duff is here, and Cat Herder Cam. Now that's a YouTube channel I would watch. Cat Herder, absolutely. And of course Steve Builds is here, Tony D is in the house, as well as Bearded Bucket. Also, for those that don't know, Steve and I kind of have a little thing where we help each other out. So when we are done here hanging out, I'm going to kick you guys over to Steve Builds, who's going to be going live in about an hour. And if you are, for some reason, coming from Steve Builds' show, let me know and say hey, because that's what community is all about. Steve and I just put each other's links and all that in our descriptions because it is a mutually beneficial thing. We're not financially sharing any wealth, thank God, because there's not a lot of money to go around these days. But the deal here is that Steve and I stream at roughly the same times. I actually adjusted my stream time so that we're not really fighting with each other. And recently, Steve and I talked and said, well, wait a minute. If I'm finishing it an hour and a half deep into a podcast, which is pretty normal for us, that would normally mean when I started at 11, Steve still had a half hour until he streamed. It makes more sense for me to start at noon, go over and kind of co-stream a little bit while Steve's going on at 1, and I would finish at 1:30, then dump all of our people into his stream. That has a benefit to him. We would prefer to go on after Steve, but Steve can be on for 5, 6, 7 hours, and I need some sort of structure. I love you, buddy. Yeah, guys, we're going to check out Steve Builds as soon as we're done here. But community is about kind of building those friendships. As my dad says, the internet friends, right? And community can be both online and in person. It could be one, it could be the other. But building that community is what kind of has we have this. We have this all because that is where we as humans tend to enjoy ourselves, right? We want naturally to be connected with other people. I know you might say, I hate other people. I'm not a huge fan of other people, too, right? Other people are weird, they're smelly, and especially down here in Florida. Yeah, and we have the resident Florida man, which is just another problem in and of itself. But ultimately, a community is about giving back without an expectation of anything in return. When we work with people here in the community, there is no expectation of return, right? If we work with you as a business, we're charging you up front. There is a, relationship there that is business. For community, yeah, it's nothing like that. So, like, we look at community people, right? We look at systems like Discords that are solely built around trying to help people, like the 3D Printing Rescue Discord, which they also have a Facebook. I refuse to use it. Sorry. Now I'm going to call out someone from that Discord specifically because it's always funny when I do that. Where is he? I will find you in here somewhere. But there is a nice little group of people over there, and kind of the deal is don't be jerks to each other, and it will be just fine. Yeah, it's I think it's Dave the Buster. Is that normally the guy who I tag? Probably. Either way, hope everyone from there is doing good too. And as Geek Toy Box says, people generally suck, and they do, right? But part of a community is understanding that you guys are working towards something bigger and better, and that is more people finding this industry. Every single year, come the holiday season, we always try to remind people, you all need to be nice to each other. You need to be nice to each other. Because if you're not, we create a toxic environment for newbies. We teach them to do things that are dangerous, like making TPU O-rings for propane tanks, which can get people killed. And instead we call ourselves content creators and influencers, which is wrong. You should not be doing that. That is irresponsible of you. What we want to do is push fun projects that use 3D printing practically more than just the printing dragons, because the last thing any of us need right now is larger communities of people that are just trying to race to the bottom on pricing. What we need are people that are there to support each other, not, hey, I'm having this problem with my printer. Did you try Googling first? No. Look, you can help these people out without degrading them. You can be nice to people without being a jerk. And that is kind of part of life here. Community engagement is the big place of where you go to an industry and say, I just want to be a part of it. I don't want anything in return. I just want to help. I just want to help others. Great. And that's what a community is all about. But as you build up that community engagement, you become a known resource as someone who does certain things, whether you're a streamer, or you're someone that assists, maybe you're, the expert of multicolor or something like that. You become known for certain things. Okay? That is where things are key. That is where the community engagement that is where community engagement goes a little bit beyond just regular community and actually leads into something that you could start to look at monetizing. So in 3D printing, right, community used to be rep, right? It was all about the RepRap project. It was about building open source. It was collaborating to produce a better end product, right? And without that community of people, we as an industry would not be here like we are. We would still likely have 3D printing in some capacity, but certainly nowhere near the way that it is right now. Life is a little bit different because of community. And for us to not acknowledge that, really has us moving away from who we are as a core competency as an industry and as a community. And it's part of why I have some issues with these new machines that are somewhat click, print, and go. I like them, don't get me wrong, but if you don't understand the history of where you came from, then you don't understand the potential challenges and threats, if you will, that these newfangled click, print, and go machines could bring along with it. Bearded Bucket gifting 5 memberships. Thank you very much. Duff got another one. Duff, I'm fairly certain Duff has been a member of our channel for like 7 or 8 months now and has always been gifted a membership. That is hilarious. Joseph Griner got one. Cat Herder Cam got one. Seabass 7897 got one. And Mr. Tiberum got one. Also, Amber is here. Everybody say hi to Amber. Thank you, Bearded Bucket. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you for kicking a couple of bucks into giving some people early access, because we are going to start doing a really fun video. It's going to come out in about 2 weeks, which has nothing to do with April Fools. That is a different one, but we're going to start doing a series called The Catting Room Floor. The Catting Room Floor is going to be pretty much any on-camera interaction that I have with the cat, as well as like cut Print Fix Friday pieces. We are starting to cut down the time for Print Fix Friday. We're trying to hit that 12 to 15 minute mark. And so that often means we have to cut 1 or 2 fails out of Print Fix Friday. Well, we're going to put those all into the Catting Room Floor. It's going to be a monthly video that you guys get, and members, Patreon, PayPal, however you choose to financially support us, you will have access to those really awesome videos. So thank you, Bearded Bucket. Greatly appreciate it. So how can you become part of a community, right? Honestly, I probably should have like scheduled this one to like interview Liz, because Liz is probably one of the greatest examples of a community working. Pez Liz, if you don't know. Liz, something about her, she knows how to build a really good community. Anytime that I'm watching one of her streams, anytime that I'm in a Discord server with her, everyone is awesome. And Liz brings around the right type of people. Liz hosts the masterclass on building communities, right? Because that is what it is all about. It is about just trying to help others. I don't care about the business here, right? You have to. Community is a long game. And if you're only here for the short game, then you're not here to be a part of the community. You're a shyster. You're just trying to get money and leave. You want to play the long game. And the long game is, 1, you get all these awesome new friends, right? Think about it. Think about all these cool friends, right? Your comrades, if you will. And then you get to go to conventions and meet up with all these cool people. Like my dad says, I go to these conventions to meet up with my internet friends. That's right. That is exactly what I do. And it is awesome. That is part of the community. Community aspect is going and supporting someone, not because it benefits you, but because it benefits them. Because you want to support them and see them grow. Well, people do the same thing for you. It's about being a good human. That's what community is all about. And it might seem a little bit weird to you, but it is. And I love it. Also, Wexter's here saying, Liz is awesome. K2 Kevin says she's all right. That's fair. Nah, K2 and Liz are good friends, and Wexter's great friends with everybody too. And yeah, as Geek Toybox says, he just started 3D printing OC. That's Orange County, and they hung out yesterday working on printers. That's what it's all about, dude. And Pezl is here saying we need to care about the humans, the hobby, and then we can fight about printers and filament. That's fair. The people are going to come first. And if the people don't come first, then really they're kind of last. And we don't ever want to see that, right? Part of building a community is making sure that people feel welcome and they feel like they have a home. Because what is a hobby other than kind of seeking comfort, right? It's something that you enjoy. It's a de-stressor. Although sometimes I feel like 3D printing is more of a stressor than a de-stressor, but hey, whatever. This is really what a community is. And if you ignore the people that are in it, then it's not really a community. It's kind of, I'm not really even certain what it is. Everybody has a value here. You watching, and yes, the one next to you as well, and the one next to them. You all have value. And you might say, well, I can't do this. I don't like this. This isn't for me. Sometimes you just got to calm down and let things happen with time, right? I will tell you, one of the most frustrating things about content creation is I haven't cracked that code, right? We're going to try more kind of crazier style videos, but we haven't really cracked the code. And so as a business, this content creation thing is a massive waste of money. Like, it's a massive waste of money. We're over $80,000 deep in loss on this channel. But I enjoy the absolute hell out of it. And I want to share my passion with you guys. And it seems at least 41,000 or so of you seem to agree about it. And you're like, I like this passion. It's fun. But ultimately for me, yeah, there is a financial component to it. But I'm in this for the community. I love being a part of this industry. I love helping people. I love making sure that everything that is done, we do it as close to right as possible. And sure, we're never going to be 100% perfect. But the community to me is about kind of challenging the norms, calling out the bad behaviors, and making certain that companies are held accountable. Does that mean that there are certain companies that will never work with me? You're damn right there is. But are we the only channel to ever go as far as to decrypting encrypted log files and showing you exactly what is in it? You're damn right we are. And everybody else stayed quiet. Because ultimately, I care more about this community. I care more about people understanding what they're getting themselves into than I care about working with a company. I care more about this community than I care about the business relationship that I could have had with a company. The community matters way more to me, and you guys have a right to know. That just feels good getting that out every now and then. Wex says, I hate seeing great people fight about random critters and hating on each other because one difference while they have more things in common. You absolutely freaking right. And I've talked about this before and it happens in Wexter's Discord, where myself and Pete Shea, Pete and I fundamentally disagree on some things, but we always keep our conversations civil. We have a little back and forth, and it's fun. But we have an understanding between the two of us that this is bigger than the two of us. We do this because we feel differently about things, and we enjoy it. It's never hostile. We still hang out together, and we're friends. And I hope to one day be able to meet Pete in person, because I've always wanted to. Pete's a great guy. And that's community. Community means we don't always have to agree to be together. We don't always have to agree to understand that if we just fight all the time, and there's a difference between fighting and debating. I want to be clear about that. But if we just fight all the time, this community gets smaller, not larger. You want to work towards building together, not breaking down together. Eric Cederberg is here. He says, I am surely ignoring some people / parts of the community. And that's fair. You will find certain subsets of the community that maybe just aren't worth the time, right? They're a little too far gone to deal with. Maybe they're a little bit too radical. Maybe they've talked about, individuals of a certain racial class and said those people. Maybe they've taught you how to do very dangerous things with your machines and not given any, disclaimers about it. Yeah, and then they've only shared it to get more attention, further going down this path of naughtiness, if you will. Those are the right kinds of people that you want to ignore. And if you find that I'm the person that you want to ignore, then ignore me. I don't care. Part of a community is you get to choose. But it's the same way that when people are rude in the comments, I can choose to remove your comment. And I can choose to shadow ban you from the channel. That is part of a community, is that you ultimately control what that community looks like for you. If you're not happy someplace, go somewhere else. If you like this community, but you don't like this one person, you can block them, you can mute them, you can do whatever to get them out of your general scope of influence. And that's what makes community amazing. It's why I prefer online communities, because in-person communities are a little bit more difficult with that kind of thing. It is difficult to kind of move away from a certain individual in an in-person community than it is when it's an online community, right? So there's that. But yeah, you don't have to like everybody. And in fact, if you like everybody in the community, I'm a little, I don't know if concern's the right word or what, but I'm a little apprehensive of maybe you still have to get involved. Have fun. Amber's leaving for a bit. She doesn't like me talking all the time. You say hi to the chat, Amber? Amber says hi to the chat. Have fun. Enjoy the sun. Don't, Yeah, the sun is ultimately trying to murder us here in Florida. But yeah, guys, part of your community is that it doesn't always have to be exactly the same thing all the time. A great one, Matt's Friday call. I can see they're talking about it in the chat. Happens every Friday from 9 to midnight Eastern. There's a couple of times a year where we don't do them. In the Fridays before big events, we all try to get in person together, anyone that's at the event, and instead of doing the online meeting on Zoom, we do them in person and we hang out, we go get dinner, and we go to restaurants, and we tip incredibly well to make sure that the wait staff are not hating themselves because of us. But if you are looking for a really awesome community, there's a really awesome community out there. And you might find it in a Facebook group, in a Discord server. You might find it through one of your Patreons like Wexter's Discord. You might find it through like our Discord at the $10 tier or higher. Yes, I just used that as a way to give a call to action. I guess I might as well say leave a like on the video while we're at it. But you might find something like Matt's call from 9 to midnight Eastern every single Friday. And that's an awesome call. You don't have to have a camera. It's good to have one. We like it when people can show stuff off. And literally the goal of that call is to talk about things that you're doing, show off what you're working on, get help from the community. We went down tangents about, there was one about booze, there was one about coffee. There's always tangents about random stuff in the Friday calls. And that's what makes them special, because even like, especially when people like Eric Cederberger in there, we have Paul Buketsis, and we have others that are just subject matter experts on crazy niche things. We have Frank's Facts, okay, who has knowledge about just everything that ever existed in the world and shares it with us as a community. And we're like, hey, Frank, is this right? Can you clarify? He's like, well, actually, he goes into this 15-minute talk with all this extra detail, and most of us are loving this because it's kind of the extra knowledge that we crave. This is what a community is about. There is no financial gratification for being a part of Matt's Discord. There is no financial gratification of being a part of Matt's Friday call, and in fact, it's just a lot of time. But like Courtney from Philemon Story says, the Friday call is the thing that I look towards at the end of every week. It is how I end my week, and it's how I love ending my week. I have never missed a Friday call since I started. I've never missed them. And I love being there because it's like, it's kind of like therapy. But that's my community. That's the community that I don't have to be the YouTuber, right? Because otherwise people look at me as the content creator. On Matt's Friday call, I'm the maker. I'm a maker. I'm no different than anybody else. And I love that. Part of a community is treat everybody the same. Unfortunately, a lot of the content creators are treated a little bit different, for better or worse. I just want like a 10-minute rant about how I love Matt's Friday call. Matt's Friday call should sponsor this podcast. And as Mad Cat says, he feels so amazingly honored to be a part of those calls. Yeah, me too. I got invited randomly by one of our staff, and I've been on that call ever since. And I invite people that I think would be awesome. I retweet it every single Friday. So if you want to join, you can join. And it's it's awesome. Geek Toy Box says, I showed up to Earth without a car and stayed at the wrong hotel. He was awesome enough to drive me around that weekend. Yeah, Frank is super awesome. Frank really is just a genuine individual. I find that most people in the Friday Call are pretty genuine. So yeah, it's pretty great. Justin Miller says, maybe I should sponsor Matt's Friday Call. I did offer to be the host and just give Matt full host. That way Matt doesn't have to pay for Zoom. But yeah. And Wexter says, unfortunately, it starts at 2 a.m. for him, so he's never there. But Wexter, come on. There ain't no rest for the wicked, homie. Come on and hang out with us. You can learn what TTBP means. Duff says every content creator is treated differently. Like at the 3DM Discord, we treat Grant like crap. Yeah, it's funny. Our Discord server, they make the most fun of me. They rag on me the most. But at the same time, they also keep me honest. And they keep me grounded. And they push and they push and they push and they push. So yeah, they're gonna rabble rouse me every now and then. But they're still good people, and they mean it. They really do mean it. You know, we've always been there to support our own, if you will. And that support system is part of what a community is, right? When we have losses in this community, we reach out to those, we check in, we make sure they're okay. And while we might not do it as much as we probably should, because a lot of us have things going on and life gets away. But part of that community is that support system. When you need help, you can say, hey, 3D printing hive mind, I have a question for you. And the hive mind responds, they react, and there's part of building this community. And see, when you help and you give and you take and you give and you take, it becomes something that you feel is a core part of who you are. I feel that a core part of who I am is this community. Right? I would be significantly more depressed if it wasn't for YouTube. I love the fact that there are people that want to spend an hour or so hanging out with me pretty much every Sunday, giving me crap for not wearing green. Well, guess what? I'm wearing literally the opposite of green. So, you know what? Screw the norms, man. Let's get a little weird about it, all right? I'm here to be weird. Someone said my eyes. My eyes are blue. They're not green. And as Justin says, I treat people I don't know with respect and people I do know like an ass. It's the show. It's how I show my love. Yeah, I find that when I get to know people more, we tend to be a little bit more rude with each other. But I think it's just we've let down the barrier of being polite. And now it's just we're going to be real with you because we know you're going to be okay about it, right? I'm allowed to call people out that I know well because I know they're going to be okay with it. We can rabble rouse the guy in our Discord, Man of the Sky, who's a commercial airline pilot, every time we see something about Boeing, and then he just reminds that he flies Airbus, but we don't care. We will continue to do that. And like, I was at an airport recently, 3D scanning. Theoretically, there's going to be a video on that. I don't honestly know if I have enough content to make some sort of video about it, but whatever. I went to an airport to do some scanning. They had an old World War II radial engine biplane, and they do rides in it. That's like the thing at this airport. It's Tampa North, X39 is its call sign if you care to look it up. But I went there to do some scanning for fun, literally just to make content and to get scans that we can share with the community. They were super cool. Right? I have their information, they have my information, and I said, hey, if I can scan some stuff just for me, for kicks, for fun, I'll be happy to do some stuff for you guys professionally for no cost. Right? And I took some pictures of the biplanes and some videos of it all, and I sent it to Man of the Sky and said, you want this. And I know he wanted it because I want that plane too. But that's part of being in a community. The other thing is you can't just be in that community and do nothing. If you're in a community and you're not active in it, you're not really in that community. You're kind of adjacent to said community, right? That's it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. And that's you have to give to take, right? And if you're not active, you don't exist. Right. And I know that's a really hard thing to hear, but if you're not active in a community, you don't exist. Let me explain this one a bit. Also, Sanjay says I'm all in for the airport video. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I also scanned the interior of an F-150. Shout out to Parks Ford of Wesley Chapel for letting me come in and scan in your showroom and not make me go outside and do it in the hot Florida sun. Appreciate it. For many years, I was known to be the full color guy on Reddit. That's what most people know me for. And to this day, I still get people reaching out to get the software for those full color 3D printers. I don't post much to the 3D printing subreddit anymore. One, I don't really run the full color machines anymore. That whole market kind of fell off with human malware, if you will. But I would still consider myself, on the top end of users for that technology. I was voted best in the world 5 years in a row. I'm allowed to, go down that route, and my clients range from the Smithsonian to Snoop Dogg on that technology. It's not like we don't know what we're doing with it. The thing is, I'm no longer active in that community. I'm no longer active, so I'm not called upon for that stuff anymore. And while Amber might be a lurker, Thomas might have a day job, Amber, you still come to the Friday calls. You still participate. You still, you're still a part of it. You're tangentially also associated with it because you show up in videos. For me, right? And being a part of a community is not just something that is easy. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes way too much work. But damn it, it is so much fun. It is so much fun. In construction, Duff says, if the guys are not razzing you, you're most likely disliked. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into that somewhat toxic relationships and all that happen in the trade companies, but I understand what you're saying there. Mad Cat says, I always tell people that if you see me being coldly polite with someone, I am very angry at them. If I call you names, we're cool. Yeah, Mad Cat has so we have a thing in our server where we give people nicknames. Devoid Colossus gave me a nickname called the Professor because there was a comparison made in our server to me and Joel Telling, where Joel got a little bit angry at the end of his Orange Storm Giga stream because he had been working on it for 3.5 hours and the damn thing just ruined itself, right? He got angry and he kind of rage quit. And Duff said, or was it Duff or was it Devoid? I think it was Devoid that said it. If it was Duff, correct me, please. That Joel is the regular educator who's trying to always be nice and cool and calm and collective. And Grant is a college professor that just takes a big drag from a cigarette and tells you how screwed the world is right to your face. That's fair. I'm not going to sugarcoat things, and maybe that will change with time. But right now, I think that's part of the allures that I'm not going to sugarcoat things for you. Like, if you're not a part of a community, that community will forget you. If you're not a part of it, that community will forget you. And you can rebuild that trust. You can come back into that community. But remember all the hobbies and communities that you were a part of that you're no longer a part of, and how you no longer are a part of it. They're no longer a part of you. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Geek Tour Bus says, hey, Grant, want to help me 3D scan Lucifer at the Denver airport? I have been debating on bringing one of our scanners to Rocky Mountain, but if I'm doing it, I'm bringing the Artec Leo. And I just don't know if I want to scale. I don't know if I want to bring a $35,000 briefcase. Is basically what that comes down to. That show is double the size that it is from last year, and I just don't know if carrying around the scanner is going to be a net positive thing for me, or if it's really just going to get in the way. So, also, unless Lucifer is down like at my level where I can scan him with this scanner, I probably won't be able to scan it unless they give us permission to do it somehow. So Geek Toy Box Dom, if you want to try to call the airport and see if they'll let us scan it, we might need some equipment to do it. But yeah, we could do some crazy stuff with that if you want. Nicholas Piran says the only way to be a part of any community is to contribute to it, and yet joining late feels hard to bring additional value, except piles of issues for the Print Fix Friday. There is no such thing as joining a community too late. You don't have to bring something new and exciting to the table. You don't have to have this brand new 3D printing technology to be someone that is seen and respected in this community, right? Wexter is a designer. Liz is learning how to design. K2 Kevin is a designer. They do 3D modeling. You can do 3D modeling. You can learn. Wexter has, as far as I'm aware, no formal training in 3D modeling. He just learned it. And yeah, it took him a while. And you should see some of his old sculpts versus his new sculpts. His new sculpts are much better. But that's what life is about. Life is about getting better as you go through things and then leaning on people to help you get there, right? Part of a community is understanding that every single person has a value, whether they're brand new or they're the OG veteran of that community. It is always about every single person having some value, right? Like, I don't know a damn thing about Clipper. So I went to the community when we were messing with the Magneto X to help out with that. Saying, hey, community, I don't know anything about Clipper. I'm going to make a bunch of mistakes. You all are going to laugh at me. But I want to learn this. I'm going to do it live with you. And so we did. And I made some mistakes. I didn't read some things. And I just kind of sent it. But I had a community there to help me. Some of them were rude, but I think they were just rabble-rousing me. It was fine. Tony D says, I have to say the Deals channel has helped increase my spending on 3D. Not sure if that's a positive thing. Well, that depends on your significant other, really. Tony D has been given a few endearing nicknames. That's true, you have. And in Matt says, I'm still somewhat a part of the D&D community, just not as much as I used to be. I still have contact with a lot of the people in the industry on Facebook. Yeah, you can still be a part of a community, but kind of step aside. It's like going into retirement, taking a sabbatical. It's okay. You just have to understand that your brain can only get so many things in it at once. That's what it says. Try, fail, try again. Exactly. The community can help you. Don't just walk in and expect everybody to drop what they're doing for you. You have to assimilate a little bit into this community. Give before you take. If you come in and ask, and then nobody sees you ever again, yeah, you kind of get a bad name for yourself because, well, you're leeching. You're not kind of giving back, right? Some of these communities can be a little intimidating when you look at the caliber of people there says stuff, and that's true. I think anyone that joined our Discord or has joined our Discord that was maybe a little like apprehensive. I am just like this off camera. I am effectively the same person off camera that I am on camera. I'm much quieter off camera, which is funny. Most people don't expect me to be much quieter, but I have to be constantly talking on camera because it's a one-man show. When it becomes less than a one-person show or more than a one-person show, I guess, then you will see me talk less, and it's more of a conversation than it is me talking with a chat, right? That is what community's about. Wexter's the same way. You might say, oh, Wexter. No, dude, Wexter is so freaking chill. He is so freaking chill. And Wexter's Discord is similar to mine in that members of the servers will just randomly jump in when they're available. It's not like nobody goes into the voice chats only when Wexter's there, only when I'm there. No, no. They're in there all the time, hanging out. They've got their own little friend groups, and they're always willing to see more people. There's been a new person hanging out in Wexter's voice channel. Goes by the name The Mandalorian. And he was asking, you know, I'm not like being overbearing or anything. We're like, no, 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 no. Part of this is that everybody is new at some point. I was new at some point. Pete was new at some point. Grumpy was new at some point. And as long as you're a part of this community and you're not a piece of crap, you'll continue to be accepted into that community. It's pretty awesome. Wexter says, Grant shows up in my Discord like Ross from Friends. When he is sad, just jumps in and says hi. I don't know. So I'm like, hey guys, it's Grant here. That's what I'm going to do. The next time I come into your server, Wexter, I'm going to give you the most ridiculous intro. You can be like, wow, I miss Quiet Grant. But like, that's being part of a community. I don't have as much time as I used to hang out, and I do my best. But yeah, Wexter's community is pretty awesome. If you like Wexter's models and you support him on any of the platforms, you should have access to his Discord, and it's full of a bunch of degenerates, and it's amazing, and I love it. Something Bumbling Idiot says, as I get older, I just get more aches and pains, nothing better, except my dashing good looks and long hair. Well, I cut all my long hair off, and the vast majority of people said it's better when it's shorter, so there's that. I definitely get more aches and pains as well, but that also means that I likely have more time to be a part of a community because I'm achy and I can't do things. So I just want to hang out with people on a Discord server or on Twitter or X or whatever the hell they're calling it these days. That to me is a community, right? That's a community to me. Pezlis says, Wexter's also the kindest people. Buddy bites the best bites. I see, I don't judge what people do behind closed doors. Liz wants to put it out there for everybody. And I'm cool with that, you know. I'm cool with that. And Bearded Bucket brings up a problem. It's like so many Discords, it's hard to keep engaged sometimes. And the at everyone or at here is not a way to engage on every post. I agree with this. So I'm really only active in probably 3 to 5 servers, maybe 6 servers every now and then. But if there's a server, like I'm in Frank's server, he's Frankly Built. I'm like, what the hell's his show name? Frankly Built. I'm in Frankly Built server, and I don't really hang out there unless I get added, right? And if someone adds me in that server, I'll go over there. I'll hang out for a little bit. But yeah, I basically only have notifications turned on for my server, Matt's server, Wexter's server, some Infotus's server still. Who else is? X1 Plus servers had it in there. Polar 3D I've been active in. So like there are servers that I'm active in, and I'll move around as I need to. But that's okay, right? Like Dom's a friend of mine. He's not really active in my server, and as he said, he's only active when I add him. Well, that's okay. Dom is busy. Dom's in other servers. I don't really see Dom in any servers, really. So it's not that I feel jealous that he's not just in my server. No. Dom's busy. And a lot of us turn off our notifications because all the booping that Discord does can be a little distracting. It's all right. That's part of life. Handle what you can handle. Don't go too overboard. And realistically, we should all probably be leaving the servers we're not active in, but sometimes you need them to get help from time to time. Liz says he keeps you accountable. That's what I mean. Liz, he uses that for accountability. That's all on you, homie. That's all on you. You can spin that whatever way you want. Yeah, but I will say that I need to be active in more servers too, and then I find myself barely being as active in mine as I want to be. But you find the communities where you are at home. And then part of the deal with these communities is that you are welcoming to others. If you're not welcoming to others, your community will stagnate, right? Be welcoming, encourage others, encourage that growth. Now, a lot of these communities, there are two options, right? It's free and open to everybody, or it's pay gated. And, oh, Miss Victoria's here. We opted for pay gating. And that was a very, very hard discussion that we had internally. And it was probably the most even yay versus nay that we've ever had in the company. And I eventually said, I want it pay gated. And I wanted it pay gated because we give a lot of like just one-on-one assistance for people, right? People ask questions and I will give them one-on-one assistance. I can't just give away my time for free. And if I do have a public server, the only way that server is going to get a lot of activity is with the at everybody, at here, and all of that. For $10 a month, you get more value out of that in our server. I pretty much guarantee it. As long as you're active in that server, you will get the value out of it. But we did that because we didn't want the server to grow to 15,000 people or whatever, servers like that can grow to, of people that aren't going to say anything. We want them there because they want to be there, right? That's part of why we do what we do. We want you to want it, right? Not just be there because it's another server for you to be a part of. And $10 a month is a pretty low bar for getting to hang out with awesome people. Like, it's cheaper than the gas to go. It's cheaper than the gas for me to go from here to Tampa and back, I think. With today's gas prices, it might be. It's definitely more expensive than going to Tampa, doing anything in there, and then coming home. Tell you that much. Wax says, I need to do more of my Discord. Make it a cool hangout place like it was a few years ago. But it's slowly getting there lately. And it is, right? You'll have your core people. Some people go, some people stay. That is a community. It waxes, it wanes, and there's good, there's bad, and hey, that's life. That's life. Yeah. And as some people know, if you're active and you're messaging me on other platforms and all that, I might just kick you an invite to our server. It's never really about the money for me for the server. It's about making sure that our community doesn't grow too fast. The money is a way to basically gate that and say, if you want to be a part of it, you can. But you got to give a little bit before you take. It's the same reason that a lot of 3D design creators will have back catalogs that you can only access after X amount of months that you've been supporting, or it's a more expensive tier. Because like a lot of people will just join a back catalog and then take all the models and then leave, right? They'll stop supporting financially. And as a digital creator, that can be very, very disheartening. And I don't like when people do that. It's like, I still support Wexter. I'm still a part of his server. I'm still on one of the higher tiers, I think, because I love the work that he does. It's not about the models to me. It's about supporting a friend and doing what he wants to do and building this hobby of his into a sustainable income stream. Jorvik says, we hope you're able to make it to Smurf 2024. The plan is to be at Smurf 2024. We will be there. I don't know how, but if I keep saying we will, then I will back myself into a corner where I have to find a way to do it. So, but yeah, I loved going to Smurf. Smurf was awesome. Not just because we were able to raise over $6,000 for the Sanjay Mortimer Foundation, but also because I was able to meet people like Wexter for the first time. I was able to meet Zach, not Zach Friedman, but Zach, who's the SMF recipient, but he's also one of our team members. I met a couple of staff for the first time at Smurf. I got to meet Geeky Faye for the first time. I got to meet so many awesome people for the first time. People that I consider friends, that I can now actually give them a hug, shake hands, fist bump, whatever it is. That's what I love about those communities, man. Going to the events, if you have the opportunity to go to a Rep Rap Fest of any sort, whether it's Rocky Mountain, East Coast, West Coast, Murph, Midwest, Smurf over in the UK, do it. Spend the money, right? Rocky Mountain's going to run me $1,200 in raw cost to go. No, actually way more than that. $700 for plane tickets, which is crazy. I got to Smurf for almost that much for plane tickets. $700 for plane tickets. Hotel was $500. The car is going to be a couple $100. So, okay, call it $2,000 by the time I'm all said and done. It is well worth it to me to be able to spend time with our community, make content for you guys. And if I'm lucky, we can get a sponsor between now and then that will help cover those, costs. But otherwise, I'm just going to go there and enjoy it and have fun and be a part of a community, because that's what it's about for me. Eric says the era of forums is over. I say this is someone that used to spend a lot of time in forums. Yeah. Wex says, sadly, I don't think I'll be there this year. December's a really busy month for me, as always. I get it. December's rough for us, too. But I don't know, man. I feel like I have to top what I did last year. And, yeah. As Wex says, for the money I spent at Smurf, I could have bought a few Prusa XLs. Do I regret it? Hell no. I met some cool people. Yeah, Smurf... And mind you, we were in Europe for 2 weeks. We went to Prague for 1 week. We went to Smurf, and then we were in London and France. Okay, so we did some traveling. All in my cost for that was like $7,000. It was pretty expensive. But like I used a business trip to also go visit Prusa, go visit E3D, take Amber to the Louvre, which we definitely had cameras the whole time, and we got permission to do it, which is super cool. We went to the Eiffel Tower. We went on the London Underground, which was an absolute disaster. And we brought everybody along as much as we could. All those videos are coming out soon, by the way. It was 100% worth it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. People spend more than that to go on cruises, and they stay in their room the whole time. They never go meet people. Smurf was awesome. And that's why I'm looking forward to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap. Right? I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hanging out with Zach and Brooke Friedman. I'm looking forward to seeing Justin and Zura and Dom and all the awesome people that are going to be there. Because they're my friends. And I only get to see them a couple of times a year. And it's worth it to me. Community is about that collaboration. It's giving back. It's about supporting others. It's about being a part of something bigger than you. And when you realize that it is bigger than you, it's not about you. No one really cares about you as one person. It is about the group as a whole. You find out what a community is all about. When someone gets hurt or they get sick and the community finds out, we'll send you care packages. When Wexter's crew sent me so many things, like I even have some of it sitting here. My birthday a couple of years ago, they found a bunch of stuff with bamboo on it. Like spelled B-A-M-B-U. How they found this kind of stuff, I'll never know. This is hairdressing cream. I will never use this, but I keep it because it's a reminder of what a community is all about. It's about pranking each other and having a lot of fun. I keep it up here on my shelf because it is an important reminder of friendship. It's an important reminder of what it is to be a part of a community. And it was so funny when it all came in. They're good people. It's just good people, man. And part of it is giving back. You know, it's good. Nick Foster says, yeah, until the 3D printing group on Facebook bans you for no reason, and now you can't show off your prints anymore. Honestly, dude, Facebook's a cesspool. So yeah. Yeah. I don't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook as a community in general. Eric said, I don't think I'm going to be able to visit any other rep wraps for a while, though. It's so expensive taking a week off and travel to the U.S. Totally understandable. Yeah, totally understandable. My goal for a community is to build one where people feel comfortable, where they feel safe, where they feel respected, but they also feel like they can be themselves. They don't have to have a persona on. They can just be regular freaking people with regular freaking people problems. We have an entire channel in our server dedicated to neurodivergence where you can just bitch about things in life that are going on. We have an entire channel dedicated to politics that I have on mute. So if you are very politically motivated and you want to talk to people that are politically motivated, go and do it. We have a channel on our Discord called the DGen Network that is quite literally zero rules. I don't care what goes on there. You can choose to do whatever you want in there. And then there are ones that are very specific for different types of channels, right? Life is about finding communities where you feel comfortable. The trick is, you don't always have to find one. You can do what Justin did and build one. This is the second year of the Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest coming up. Justin and a few others built Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest from the ground up. He didn't want to travel, so he built a Rep Rap Fest in his backyard, basically. Can the average person do that? No, probably not. But that's what he did. That's how he grew his community. Why? Because he doesn't like traveling and he wants to do it in his hometown. He can save a bunch of money, but instead he puts in a bunch of time. Communities are about time investment. Speaking of investment, Max, thank you for the $10. Appreciate it, sir. So thanks for another awesome podcast, Grant. Hey, thank you. I guess I'm supposed to say, you all should do the same thing if you do feel so inclined. If you enjoy these shows, a couple of bucks goes very far into helping out. Just saying. Mickey Toybox says, I remember IRC. I used to have fast internet connection at work. People would use my connection to seed media. Wait, respected in the 3DM Discord. Mad Cat says, hey. Mad Cat, the guy that had a serious medical issue and was in our Discord in the hospital. The dude is in a hospital gown holding his phone and the nurses are coming in and he's explaining to the nurses why he's on his phone because he's talking with a bunch of us fun, interesting people as he's currently getting ready for emergency surgery. Like, Matt, I don't think you have room to grow on that one. And then he earned the nickname The Clotless for that. Allison Ford says, having everyone make sure they came onto the chat in Discord to wish us a happy new year at the correct time for the UK. That's right. We did do that. That was fun. We all kind of spent New Year's together in the server, and we all kind of were in and out during New Year's for everybody at different times. It was awesome. Waxter with the 10 euros. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it. Now I got to find a way to give you back 10 bucks the next time I can find a way to kick you money. I'm going to slip 10 bucks into your pocket the next time I see you. It's going to be $10 American. I have no idea if that's good or bad, but I'm going to do it. Communities are awesome. Oh, Thomas, 5 memberships sent out. Allison Ford got one. BB's3D got it. Steven Z got one. Justin Miller got one. And TJL got one. Duffy can't get 2 one show. Sorry, boss. But thank you, Thomas. Thank you for gifting some memberships. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys for your support on what we do. Right? Communities don't just have to be ones that you find. You can create it. It is a metric buttload of work, which is 2.2 regular buttloads of work. Okay. Wexter says, only if I will whisper something naughty to him while doing that. You expected me to do anything but that? What's wrong with you? You should know by now that's the only way that we do things around here. For those that don't know, that's a thing with Wexter. We always have a lot of fun. That is not sexual harassment. I want to be clear. It is very consensual. We have a lot of fun. We always like to mess with each other. Literally, if you watch the video with Wexter's interview, the last thing in that video is me spanking Wexter. That is literally the last thing in that video. And that's some of the relationships I get with people. We're fun, dorky, quirky people, and it's okay to have fun every now and then. Eric says, I did spend 10 years building a makerspace that now has 800 plus members since I wanted such a place and community in my town. Just be aware that it will consume all your time if you want to do that. Yeah, that's the thing with building your own community. It is so much extra work. It is so much extra work, right? YouTube has been a ton of extra work for me, but I love it. I love it. And yes, if you love what you do, you never work a day. No, I work every single day, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I love doing it, right? I love doing it. Geek Toy Boy says, Eric, I'm starting small, got the meetup going. Now I need to get enough of them to join me in a new makerspace. Yep. Wex said, my second lawyer will contact you soon. The first one went there, but Gator got him. That's right. That's how we do it down here in the South. Just remember, you have to go north to go south in Florida. That's the trick around here. Nathan says, I think I've only met one of my 3D printing friends in real life once. Well, then you better go to the conventions, dude. They're a lot of fun. If you can financially make it, go. It's a ton of fun. So, where does this kind of leave us with how you can build your own community, right? You can host meetups, join meetups, do your own workshops. You can start at your local library. Do a repair day where you bring a printer or two out, you bring a computer out to do some CAD work, and you fix stuff for people for fun. You can find creators out there that you think it would be a really cool product that would be up their alley and collaborate with them. If you think that my skill set would be benefited by your skill set and you want to do a project together, reach out. I love to collab. It was like when I invited Frankly Built to be on the podcast. Frank is like a 500,000 subscriber YouTube channel or larger. Frank is a huge creator. Frank's response to me was saying, I was afraid to ask you. I thought you would never ask. Sometimes you just got to take it and go for it. Right? Those of you that have reached out since I talked about that we were hiring, that are like, oh, it really is just you. I'm like, yeah, no, this is just who I am. Right? This is what a community is about. Collaborating is a big deal. I need help with certain things in our business. I tell you guys what I need help with, and you all say, I can help you with it. Here you go. We've got a couple of people for writing now. We're looking at engineers at the moment, and I'd be looking for a producer. I don't know how well a digital producer would work, but, we'll see. Wexer says, never be too afraid to ask, hey, Grant, I want that wrench next to my name. I should put him in timeout for that. But you know what? Go ahead, Wexy. You get yourself a wrench. Get yourself that wrench, baby. You've earned it. But part of being in a community is the feedback, right? You're not just is it an N-channel MOSFET that only gives negative feedback? There's an electronics joke in there somewhere, but you want to be someone that is always going to give feedback. You want to listen. You want to respond. You want to be a part of it. That is what you want. You don't just want to take. If all you're doing is taking, you're not part of a community, you're leeching, right? Being part of a community is so incredibly valuable. Nathan says, I don't think you can help much. I'm in Taiwan. Well, you could easily either start a meetup for 3D printing in your area, or you could look at even building a Rep Rap Fest in Taiwan. It's pretty awesome. Wexter. Monkey with the wrench. That's right. Um, so you can organize and participate in your local community. I would guess that there's at least a couple of people that have 3D printers in your relative community. But you can start a Facebook group, start a Discord server for like 3D printing Taiwan or 3D printing in your specific city or general city. So like, I am technically not in Tampa, Florida. I'm a little bit north of Tampa, Florida in Wesley Chapel. I'm not doxing myself. My address is public. It's Florida. There's nothing that I can do about it. But I say that we're in Tampa. So when there's 3D printing stuff in Tampa, we try to go to it. That's how we do things. Tony D with the $20. Thank you, Tony. Greatly appreciate it. It's part of being in a community, right? Start something in the closest major city to you. Get people from all out. Come in. Maybe do a repair day where you repair people's products, right? Cat Herder Cam says, "Look, you are in Tampa, like I am in Orlando." I don't know where you're located, Cat Herder Cam, but yeah, I'm up in Wesley Chapel. So just be authentic, right? Be authentic. Authenticity is the big difference of what will make a community, right? Don't put on a face. Don't be fake. It's very easy to sniff out people that are not here for good reasons. It's very, very easy to do that. Like, incredibly easy to do that. And that's not what I want to see for our community, for your community, or for anybody's community. So if you started off by being incredibly authentic with others, and you set that as being the standard, then you will likely have a better chance at success than someone who doesn't do that. And yes, Nathan says the culture is a bit different. I totally understand that. I'm not under any circumstances going to debate that with you at all, because one, you would know that better than I would, but you can still be active. It takes one person. It takes one person to start a community. All you have to do is drive that impetus to make it happen. Host a workshop, host a meetup. Do what you can, collaborate with others. Like Nathan, you could collaborate with any content creator because your skill set is going to be different than theirs, right? Maybe you want to collaborate with someone who's local to you, that lives in your area, that is a content creator for some reason. Maybe there's social media personality that you want to make stuff with, that you could start building a community that way. There are always ways to do it. Always ways to do it. But sharing content is a big thing. It's actually why I've been impressed with Thangs. I've been impressed with Maker World. Been impressed with Printables. But mostly it's been Thangs. Thangs has really impressed me with the way that they've allowed users to create and share content. Thangs is venture-backed, which has allowed them to do these cash prize giveaways and all that, or Matter Hackers gift card giveaways that they're doing. But Thangs has really surprised me in the way that they've really been building a community of people, right? All around the idea of creating and sharing 3D models. Printables is doing the same thing. Printables doesn't have the financial backing that Thangs does, so they're not growing as fast. I believe Thangs is pretty parabolic right now. I still think Printables is larger, but Thangs is growing pretty parabolic. I think Thangs is really putting on a masterclass for what it takes to build a really cool community fast. But we've seen some drama. And I'll tell you, and I've talked with Dennis from Thangs here on this podcast for like 3.5 hours, and it was a very enlightening episode. I highly recommend you guys go check it out. If Ahmad wants to drop the episode in the chat, that would be great. I will say Thangs has a lot of things that they are doing right, but they also recognize that they're doing a lot of things wrong, and they reach out to the community to get help with it. That is how communities work, ladies and gentlemen. They work back and forth together. It's awesome. And as for shows, people are talking about what shows they're going to. Right now, I'm 100% Rocky Mountain, 100% 3D Printopia slash Earth. Murph will likely only happen if we can get a sponsor for it. I'm not going to plan for Murph unless we have a sponsor. So, um, yeah, Murph is a pretty much a necessity to have a sponsor because it's in Goshen, Indiana. It's in the middle of nowhere. All right, I can go spend some extra time in Colorado and go see family. I can go spend some extra time in Maryland and Delaware and go see Dave Randolph and go make fun of Domingo over at Printed Solid. Geek Toy Bus says grant 50% chance of Maker Fair OC. If we can get a sponsor, I'll be there. If I can get sponsors to events, I can be there. In fact, most likely we're not going to be able to go to Open Sauce unless we can get a sponsor. I do have tickets to Open Sauce, but I looked at the cost of it and it's not in my budget currently. If we can get a sponsor for Open Sauce, great, we'll be there. But if we can't get a sponsor, I'll have 2 tickets that I'll happily, I think I'll sell them for whatever I paid because I think they were like $100 a piece. But yeah, you know, I don't know if we'll be able to make it to Open Sauce. Anyways, Wex says, I'm not on things, but so far it looks like they've been adding a lot of features fast and much faster than any other platforms at the moment. Yes, because Fangs is doing something that very few other platforms are doing. They're actually talking to their user base. Fangs is very, very active in the community, but it's not their social media. It's Dennis, it's John, it's the core people within Fangs. They are getting out there and talking with their users. It's brilliant. It really is brilliant. Fangs is moving in the right direction when it comes to building a community, and I'm really looking forward to it. Polymaker has been building communities like crazy. Their Discord is absolutely nutter butters, full of people. It's really well organized. They always have something going on. No matter what time of day, I look over at the Polymaker Discord and there are people in there doing things. But at the same time, I've muted that Discord because it is so freaking active that it's overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. But it's life. You have to look at what you're able to handle, right? And if you can only handle 1 or 2 Discord servers or 1 or 2 Facebook groups, then do it. But a lot of you will notice I will often hang out there late at night when my server's pretty much empty because everybody's asleep. I'll go into my server for 5-10 minutes. No one shows up. I'll hop over to Polymaker. If Wexter's in his server, if no one's in mine, hang out in mine for a few minutes. No one shows up. I go to Wexter's. I go hang out in other servers. Because that's part of being a community, is being active in other places other than your own. It's all about it. Well, I promise. Nathan says, hey, Grant, thanks for helping out there with many 3D printing questions. Dude, totally. Always happy to help. Liz says, and there are presentations with the application ambassadors and shows. I want to see how I can get to become an application ambassador for business, but not B2C. I want to be an application ambassador for B2B. That's what I want to do. Yeah, Matt Cat says F. Yeah, something is up with my PC. It's been a little wonky all show, but we're making it work. We're making it work. If for some reason the stream is in and out, just refresh and it'll come back. Sorry. That's welcome to technology sometimes. My computer is very angry for some reason, and I don't know why. So might be time for a restart. Who knows? Anyways, be the one that has that attitude, that has that community, that has that experience that you would want. Provide the things that you want. That is how you build a community. You want a community of people that are open, they're honest, they're willing to be wrong, they're just kind with each other, everything like that. Then build one. Be the person that is open, that is willing to answer questions, that is willing to help, that asks for help, that is happy to help others, that will invite newbies. As long as it's not a pay-gated server, don't fit things. And you can successfully build a really, really really powerful community. Look at Wexter server. It's just full of people that love what they do. Look at our server. It's full of people that love what they do. They're smaller servers, yes. They're very small servers. But that's okay. Keeping them small means you can still have wonderful opportunities to interact with the people that you joined with in the first place. So don't look at a small server and say, oh, it's a small server. It's okay for it to be a small server. Let me see the size of 3DP Rescue. Let me see. Rules will probably tell it. 53 plus 229. Call it 300 people. They have 300 people in their server. I have, let me see. How many people are in my server? 7, 8 plus 60, 68. One off of being nice. How many are offline? There's 108 offline. So there's like 175, 176 in our server. And it's still a relatively small server. There's like 20 to 30 people hanging out at max at any point in time. And often a lot of the hangouts are like 10, 5 or 10. Great, great, great community. Something bubbling idiots, a small server equals intimate and worthwhile rather than hundreds of people talking over each other. Yep. Absolutely agree. Absolutely 100% agree. Anyways, I think it's a good place to call it. I'm kind of covered getting involved with your community. You have to. It is a core thing with any business is to have a community of people. No matter what, right? No matter what, having a core of other people, having a community that you can like, that you can enjoy, that you can be a part of. That is part of it. That's just part of doing it right. It's part of doing it right. I want to see more of you be more active in your communities. You too can become the next Pez Liz, the next Wexter, the next Geek Toy Box, the next Breaker 3D, and start your own Rap Fest, right? The next Justin Miller, who I don't know if I should say his business, but I know his business. You can be the next person. All you have to do is take that step to get there. Community is truly one of the most interesting things that you can ever have because it is nebulous. There is no cheat code for becoming an influencer. The real cheat code is just be a part of a community, provide value, become an asset, and then if your business, leverage it. That's life. Justin Miller's business is Omaha 3D Prints. Yeah, so he comes in, he gets business advice. He's been showing off all the repair stuff and build out he's doing in his house to have a business in there. Super cool. And as Dom says, Geek Toy Box says, be present. Be present. Be there. Y'all got extra time in your day. If I can find time in my day, you can find time in your day. That's all I got to say on that, right? You don't need to spend 6 hours in a Discord. You don't need to spend 6 hours, dealing with others. 20, 30 minutes a day. You can easily become a core member of a community very, very quickly. Part of that entails being there and being a part of it and being present. So, yeah. That's it, guys. I'm going to send you all over to Steve Builds. He is currently working on a Milo kit from LDO, which I hope to do one day. I'm looking forward to the Milo kits. But yeah, thank you to those of you that have supported us financially. Of course, again, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you do want to come hang out in our Discord server, it is at the $10 tier and higher. We do pay gate that, so it is a more, smaller group of people, but those that are in there will confirm it's a ton of fun. but support those that support you. Support those that you get value from. And if that's not us, that's fine. Go support people like Steve Builds. Go support people like Wexter. Go support your local community as well. And if you go to Rep Fest, maybe you'll see us there. That's all I have for you guys today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. This has been episode 179 of the Making Awesome podcast. Have a good one.